Hello, you're very welcome to join us on our retreat. My own name is Father Adrian Farrelly. I'm a Dominican priest and I'm happy to be here with you on these days of retreat. And our retreat is based on a book by Father Michael Gately and it's called 33 Days to Morning Glory. So you're very welcome to join us each day or whatever day you can. We begin our first day of this retreat, and on this retreat we are joined with various companions on the journey, and today we walk alongside a man who grew up in the northwest of France, St. Louis de Montfort, a man who had total dedication to the Virgin Mary, and a man whose life was strong because he had Mary by his side. Day 1, the Passionate Saint of Brittany. Take a look at the map of France. Now notice something about its shape. See how one part sticks away from almost as if it were running away from the rest of the landmass, ready to dive into the Celtic Sea. That jutting arm in the northwest of the country is called Brittany, and that's where St. Louis de Montfort grew up. There's something special about Brittany that seems to have all the influence on St. Louis. Its Celtic roots. Brittany is considered one of the 6 Celtic nations, meaning that the Celtic language and culture still survive. And one part of Celtic culture seems to have seeped deeply into the heart of St. Louis, the high-spiritedness of its warriors. From ancient Celtic times, Celtic warriors have struck terror in the hearts of their enemies. If you've ever seen the movie Braveheart, you know what I mean. Think of the fearless figure of Sir William Wallace, played by Mel Gibson, and his crazy crew of Scottish Highlanders who take on the English enemy many times their size. This shows something of the Celtic fighting spirit about the real-life version that is even more intense. Often wearing nothing but blue battle paint, real Celtic warriors would work themselves into bloodthirsty frenzy, rush into combat screaming their heads off, and wildly slash, bash, and slice away at their enemies with huge two-handed swords. These fighting men, despite their lack of discipline, armour and order, were extremely effective in battle because of their unmatched passion and ferocity. Throughout history, nobody has wanted to mess with the crazy Celtic warriors. St. Louis' dad, Jean Grignion, must have descended from these wild men warriors, for nobody wanted to mess with him either. In fact, he was known for having the most fiery temper of all Brittany. As one author puts it, he was a volcano frequently erupting. St. Louis, on the other hand, was as gentle as a lamb. Right? Wrong. He confessed that his temper was just as bad as his father's. But Louis channeled his fiery passion not into threats and violence, but into labouring for the greater glory of God. Well, except for the time he knocked out a couple of drunks who wouldn't stop heckling him when he preached. We can get a better sense of Louis' remarkable zeal if we reflect on his short, productive priestly life. When he died in 1716, Louis was just 43 years old, having been a priest for only 16 years. Tireless labours to bring souls to Jesus through Mary, especially by his preaching and endless succession of parish missions, brought about this holy death of St. Louis. As if life-sapping labours weren't suffering enough, Louis had to bear vicious persecution from the clergy and the heretics, even to the point of being physically attacked and poisoned by them. Despite all this, our warrior kept advancing in the battlefield, continuously preaching his trademark path to Jesus through Mary. In fact, when leaders in the church in France thought they had put an end to his work, Louis walked a 1,000-mile journey to Rome and asked the Pope for his wisdom and counsel. The Pope not only told him to go back to France and continue preaching, but awarded him the title Apostolic Missionary. Obediently and joyfully, our saint returned to France, where he continued to preach, write, and patiently bear witness to his many sufferings out of the love of Jesus and Mary and of souls. St. Louis' passion and zeal lit a fire in the young Karol Wojtyła, the future Pope John Paul II. A few years before his death, the Pope was able to realize a lifelong dream and visit de Montfort's tomb. He said on that occasion, "I am happy to begin my pilgrimage in France under the sign of this great figure. You know that I owe much to this saint and to his true devotion to the Blessed Virgin." Now, what about us? Do we have fire in our hearts as we begin this retreat? We should, or at least we should strive for it. Desire and generosity are the key ingredients to making a successful retreat. May Mary intercede for us, and may the Holy Spirit fill us with the passion to conscientiously make these days of retreat, despite any fatigue, distractions, or obstacles. And let's remember that we may have to endure in terms of the discipline of prayer is nothing compared to what St. Louis went through, and he'll be interceding for us. Relying on his intercession and that of the Mother of God, let us resolve right now to dedicate ourselves to this retreat with the intensity and zeal of a Celtic warrior, though without all the face paint and screaming. Today's prayer: Come, Holy Spirit, living in Mary, help me to make this retreat with generosity and zeal.